Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the October edition of VRM Insider. We are super excited to have you on today. We're going to give everyone just a few minutes to trickle into the webinar. Hopefully everybody's finished up their lunch by now and had an opportunity to grab a cup of coffee or a glass of water, some tea, just sit down with us. And Linnell's got her tea. I've got my water. Beautiful. Mine's not as pretty.
Yours is healthier.
We're going to be settling in for the next hour, and we are going to be looking at some really exciting new things from LSI, our awesome partners. You've heard from LSI before. We've had them on VRM Insider several times in the past. We've talked about different tools that they offer, different products in their suite. The most recent product we talked about with them is Market Insights, and so Linnell's going to briefly touch on that here in just a few minutes. But today we're specifically talking about a tool that's going to be brand spanking new, available to VRM clients. And so we're giving you a preview of that today. Linnell, I almost said Edie, but her name is Linnell Gordon now. We want to say congratulations.
Thank you.
Linnell is recently married, and so we're so excited for her. Linnell is the CEO over at LSI, and we're also joined today by Tim Woodward, who is the Chief Technical Officer. So thank you so much, Tim and Linnell, for being with VRM today. We appreciate your time.
Thanks, Tracy. We're really excited.
Yay. But Linnell has promised on numerous occasions that everything you're going to hear about today is super fun, like super duper fun.
It is.
So in the world of vacation rental management, fun and data are go hand in hand, because we need to know and we want to know what your data says, and you want to know what it says so you can make the best decisions about your company. And LSI, in addition to their many resources that they have available, have developed an amazing tool to help you look at your business and then be able to make some really sound decisions moving forward. And so that product is what we're going to be talking about today. Again, brand new for VRM customers. You can be one of the very first to adopt it. We are actually going to be actively looking for beta clients for this product. So if you're listening today and you want to become a beta tester, what that does is allows you to get a firsthand look at what your data is going to look like inside this tool and be able to poke around, play around with it, but also will allow you to train along the side with us as we offer some additional training for these products. What we want to do is make sure that by the time we go to release this, the week of November 2nd, the week of November the 2nd, that you are well versed and ready to dive headfirst into this tool, that there is no lag time. And I just want to also make the announcement before I turn everything over to Linnell and Tim that, like I just said, November 2nd is our official launch date. And then on the week of November the 9th, VRM is going to be hosting VRM University, better known as VRMU. That is our time of the year that we take to talk to our clients and offer training sessions. And so we're going to be having LSI back during VRMU to host very specific sessions on this amazing new tool. So you're going to have chances before and after the launch to get hand-holding training. We know our clients love handheld training. We're going to break it off into little bite-sized manageable pieces so nothing is overwhelming to anyone.
That's right. Yeah.
We're going to offer support on this tool. You know the VRM support team. You love the VRM support team, so they're going to be well equipped to be able to help support you in that. Essentially, what we're doing is you guys have asked for reports, better reporting. You've asked for help looking at your data to understand it better, and this is our solution. If you have a question during today's webinar, please drop it in the Q&A section. I will be perusing that, making sure we don't have any questions along the way. And without further ado, I'm going to turn this over to Linnell and Tim. So take it away, guys.
Thanks so much. We're
Thank you.
really excited to be here and to partner with you guys. I mean, how wonderful is this? I'm going to go ahead and get right into the meat of things, because what we're going to do is show you how to use this tool. This tool is called Rental Insight. Now, let me tell you the difference between the tool that you have currently, which is the Market Insights, and the Rental Insights. Market Insights is going to show you how you're doing against the local market and show you insights into comparing that data. This is totally separate data. The datas for these two products don't touch. They're in different places. They're pulled totally separate databases. So what I'm saying is this is not Market Insights. Market Insights is going to tell you how you're doing with your competition. It's going to show you how you're doing your average daily rate against the market's rate, those type of things. But this is going to show you in your own data how you're doing year over year, how your reservationists are doing, how each home is performing. There are so many statistics on this. We're just going to go quickly through just an overview of what this is.
Now, before we move, I just want to say one thing about Market Insights. All VRM clients can have access to Market Insights. It's a free tool, free product. It's a great way to familiarize yourself with LSI and just how they operate. It's an amazing tool. We have webinars that were already recorded for Market Insights. If you want more information, we'll be happy to get that to you. Again, it's a free tool that you can use to look at how you're doing in the market. It's accessible on your dashboard on the admin console, so you can go ahead and access that today. And going forward, when Rental Insights is live for you, you'll be able to access it in the same manner, if I understand correctly. So it'll be available through the admin console.
It's really cool. The admin console is pretty cool. We have an enormously tight relationship with VRM. We have what we're calling what's called single sign-on. And so that means that right below where your Market Insights are is going to be Rental Insights. You can click on that. Now, we're going to tell you that in the next few weeks until November the 2nd, you're in beta. We're looking for beta clients, as Tracy said, to help us to confirm the data. We want to make sure that all the data is harvested that needs to be harvested, and that just everything looks right. There's a lot of data we're pulling, because Rental Insights, it specializes in comparing historical data. So we're not just pulling up to the minute data, we're also pulling your historical data, so you'll see how that's used right here. Now, Tim, when we first started chatting with Tracy about this, you had a 1, 2, 3 that you gave kind of analogy for this. What did you say?
Yeah, I was waiting to jump in on that. So with what you were talking about Market Insights, and if you haven't been in that and you're starting into it and you've got questions, I mean, please, reach out. Sometimes it's a lot to swallow and gather of just, what am I looking at and what does this mean and how do I analyze this? But as you do that and compare against the market, that's kind of your first phase of, well, how am I doing compared to everybody else? Because you might be down or you might be up, but you may be doing better or worse than the other people. So if you're up and you're like, hey, I'm doing great, that phase one, if you don't do something like Market Insights and compare it against the rest of the market, you might be up 10%, but if the market's up 20%, you're missing out. So, likewise, if you're down 10%, you might be ready to do a fire sale and discount everything, and you look at the market and it's down 25%. You kind of say, we're doing something right. So that's that first step. If the Market Insights is to figure out where you have the opportunity or the issues. Then the phase two is kind of where you're going to start putting some of that into action. That's with what you can control, and that's your own units. So that's where Rental Insight comes in, is letting you kind of find out, where am I hurting? Is it looking at down to the specific unit level of, am I doing as good as I was last year in this unit, or what group of units seem to be down or up compared to the last year? Where are my rates at? Just all the different analytics at that point. Then the third step within inside of Rental Insight is to take those past guests, and Linnell's got all kinds of great examples just to show you, but you can say, oh, let's go find all the guests. If you decide with all your looking and analytics between Market Insights and pulling the reports that you've got a 5-bedroom home that's oceanfront that you're really hurting in those, you can go find 5-bedroom oceanfront guests that haven't rebooked from the past 3 years and market to them.
Well, let's show them that.
So
It's okay.
that's the,
We
so
just
Linnell's got all
went,
kinds of great examples of that, but that's kind of the 1, 2, 3 step of where we're going. So this is really that helping you find what to do from that market insights data that you may have looked at. So.
okay. Let me just start out before we start. This is the homepage you're going to see. It's going to show you your bookings. So this is September 2020, October 2020, Q4 2020. We're going to have other statistics that are going to pop up on here. We were trying to show you some of the things that you're going to see. So this is revenue on the bottom, and that's bookings on the top. I think data is so much fun. And I take it backward from what Tim said there. I believe that the coolest thing is being able to look at my inventory and find out where I need something and go here and find it. Find people to fill my inventory with. So on the front page, you're going to see a snapshot report. Now, this snapshot report, this is for management. Management's going to look at this, and it will be emailed every single day if you sign up. So you have to sign up for this report. So sign your management up for this report. Even if you're the one in marketing using it, put your manager's email in there so that they can have
You can send it to people that aren't users.
Yeah.
The technically challenged that just read their email.
So down here under marketing, we're going to start out with the snapshot report under revenue management. So there's marketing, revenue performance, reservation analysis. So we're going to go to revenue performance, and we're going to start with our daily snapshot. And we're going to bring up the snapshot report, and there's a lot of data here. Okay, so I'm not going to go through every bit of it. I'm just going to do a high level overview, because here you see your bookings that you've done compared daily, along with your cancellations, the bookings this week, the bookings in October and September, 2019 year to date, Q4 right here, Q3 year to date as well. You're going to see your 2020 bookings all together along with your 2019 bookings. Where am I up to this moment? And then where was I last year? And then we're going to show you through red or green how you're doing. So I'm going to say something right up front. This is an East Coast database. So this data, this pretend data, comes from the East Coast. We mix and match all kinds of stuff, but the thing to note here is that even though their reservations are way, way up, look at this in Q3, and this is real data. So in Q3, they have 1,754 bookings this year, all bookings, right? And then you've got last year's booking through this date. They had in Q4, they had 60 for the month through this date. What they've got here is a lot of pre-advanced reservations. They don't have money on them. There's no money on these, but their reservations there anyway, which is why you see the red. So they're incredibly up because of COVID, honestly. But if you look down here on your performance report, you see that right here, they're up 1.5 million for this year. Now this is interesting. These are goods and commissions. This is money to your bottom line. That's not money that gets split with the owner. That's your money in your pocket. So this year we're selling a lot more. The advanced your reservation actually has a fee on it for this particular type of data that we're looking at. It also has advanced cleaning. They have more cleaning fees that they used in COVID. There are all kinds of fees that are new this year or increased this year that weren't there last year. So they've got a huge amount of increase. Tim, is there anything you want to say about this report that I'm missing?
No. I mean, it's really, once you understand each of the segments, like inside of the black little lines with segment, just like she pointed out, they're weekly, monthly, quarterly. Once you kind of understand how that's breaking out and looking at it, it's really the lifeblood of how you're doing as a whole, not just day to day, but looking at it weekly, quarterly, and monthly. Because I mean, I'm sure we all, unfortunately feel the effects of, a storm or some other sort of event, or this year everybody got all at once with COVID. But, your year-to-year numbers for the same week may vary, but when you look at it as a whole, it starts to tell a lot better, a truer story of where you're going to end up.
So this is running every day from the time that you turn it on. When you turn the data on, in your admin area of VRM, this will start. And we have an archive here. I'm just going to point out so you can see how you're doing day by day. Now this is pretend data, okay? So this is when we're running our data. So you see that it's just got dates in here. But when you do it, it'll be a daily date, and you can actually go back and check your snapshots one against the other. Here's the important part. Sign up here. Here's your email sign up. If I say one thing that you pay attention to the whole time that we're doing this, if you like Rental Insights, sign up for this, because it will send a report every morning, the snapshot report, in an email. I think what time does it come out? Like 5 o'clock in the morning, Tim?
Yeah, I think so. It's like an early morning. We allow it to run overnight and make sure we've got a true snapshot of the previous day's data.
Okay, because what that does is it gives you a snapshot as you go in, so you can take a look, and it's in your inbox every morning, and you know how you're doing year over year, day over day. It keeps you up to date with the snapshot, and you don't have to wait on your P&Ls, which a lot of property managers do. You'll know every single day how you're doing. It'll show you your advanced reservations, with the red. You'll be able to see how you're doing there. And you won't have to wait to fix issues that you see. You can fix them right there in real time as they happen. You could go and you could say, hey guys, what happened yesterday? We only see this many reservations. We should have had twice as many. It keeps you in a place where you're not trying to catch up. You're actually right on top of things. So the next thing we want to look,
give you, sorry, Linnell, give you a chance to take action before it's too late.
That's right.
And Linnell, so in addition to it being emailed, preferably to someone in management, if I'm just a user, I can still see this information via the admin console if I log in.
If you're a user, you can bring it up in the admin console. But okay. Yeah, especially if you're a manager, you can see it here, and you can have this sent to your owner every morning, and you can, so he can keep up with what you're doing. So this is the lifeblood in a snapshot of a lot of the reporting that we have here. It just puts it together in a way that makes it useful for you. So now we're going to go to some pacing reports. This is under revenue performance. It's your unit pacing report. And I have the screens up here just because it's really easy for me to have them, but it's live. And what I can see here is how I'm doing year to date, how I was doing year to date this time, 2019, and how I was doing year to date in 18. Now this is overall, I'm looking at all the properties right here. But what this is meant for, well, it's meant for a lot of things, but when we first built it, let me tell you why we built it. We built it because we wanted the property manager that when they got the phone call from the owner that said, I'm not happy with the way that my rentals are going, they can come and they can do the drop down and pick a unit, and they can say, oh, Mr. Homeowner, let's take a look. Well, let's see. Last year at this time you had 20 reservations, but this year at this time you have 24, and you have more money on the books this year than last year. Your reservations on average are up 120%. You've got 117% for your average days right here, and here's your average revenue. So it's a snapshot for you to be able to tell your homeowner how they're doing. Now, the other thing it shows is your advanced reservations.
Well, now before you go to the advanced, go ahead and click on the year-to-year property comparison. Because you were looking at it from one, this is a way to see all the units at the same time and make that same summary. If I jumped ahead on you, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. No, that's fine. Yeah, absolutely.
So like exactly kind of tying back to, you're saying, well, where am I hurting, or I'm down, I need to find what's going on. Looking at this and kind of going through and seeing, well, who's up or who's down. I mean, I see a couple at 98%, some 93%. So I see an 84%. As you scroll, you can start to kind of zone in on those different units that may be down, whether you're looking at, are you going to offer them the renewal contract? Do you want to try to market that house? Do you need to reprice the rates? Whatever analysis you might want to do to those units, even if it's not as a general marketing thing, this could just be simply from a rental manager looking at their unit performances.
Remember at the beginning, I said that all these reports can be printed or exported. And some of these reports are so simple, you can copy them off and put them in Excel yourself. I'll show you a couple of those that you really don't want us to do. There's no need to export, but here you can export your data. You can put it in a spreadsheet. You can slice and dice it as you'd like. Now, so here's your analysis, like I said, of the individual property. and we're doing an individual property here. I don't know if I did 76 or 79, but we've got a different property here. Let me come back and do the same one so I can show you. So here's what we're doing year to date right now. These are paid reservations. Now, as I go to the advanced year reservations, this is the money that's on the books for the advanced year reservations. So you can see that 2020, we have 964 on average. And you've got here are the days that are on average for 2020 versus 2019. Now, I'm thinking that in this particular case, we know that there are more advanced reservations for 20 than 19 for all of our clients. So again, this is overall. Let's take a look at that specific unit. And again, you can see for this specific unit, they are on average, they've got more reservations, a great deal more reservations this year than they had last year. So, and they've got a lot more money on the book. So these are just advanced year reservations. So whether they're paid or not, we really don't care. We're just pulling that data. And the same thing, what Tim said here, where you're doing the whole list of all your properties, the year to year, and the year to year for the advance, you can have the same thing. Now you can pull this down to the unit level, but you've got the same data as you had on the other. So, so the next thing, let me see, is there anything else? Nothing else I want to look at here. Now let's look at how do I fill inventory and how do I know I have a problem with my inventory? We have a report and it's a tape chart. It's called a week-to-week report. So on the week-to-week report, the data that we show here, hang on, I'm going to go to the end of it. Okay, so here's the week-to-week report. You have your settings up here. We're looking 2020, all properties. If you notice, you can do this unit by unit. But we built this report. Now, notice that it's color-coded. I'm going to show you what the colors mean. Let's go to the bottom. At the bottom, green are confirmed bookings. So you can see that's a confirmed booking. Yellow are unconfirmed bookings, and we don't have any of those here right now. We have red, which is owner bookings, the blue, which are withdrawn bookings, and a gray if there's a different type of booking for an in-house. So mostly what we're going to concern ourselves with are the white spaces, which mean it's not rented, and holes in our inventory. It starts from week 1. Let me go to the top, sorry. There's week 1. And let's see, let's go all the way over to October where we are now. I'm going to move it. This is the summer. You can see most of it's green because this is a seasonal company that has summer weeks and summer seasons. Everybody has summer weeks. That has seasonal summer weeks is what I meant to say. So right now we are in it's the 8th. So we're in this week, the 3rd through the 10th. We have a new rental week that'll start here. But look at this. As we look forward, look at all our white. So what I want to look for is I want to look and see, do I have holes for Thanksgiving that I can fill? It's October the 8th. Can I find people that are willing to rent last moment and drive to the beach? Because at this point, we're looking at that type of seasonal place, or drive to whatever location the property management company is located in. In this case, it's the beach. So we're looking for people in the week of November 21st that are willing to go to the beach. So we found statistically that people that have been to see you, especially if you're on the East Coast, we've got a lot of repeat guests. They come back, especially if you treated them well. So if I look down here, I see all these white weeks. I'm going to see if I can't fill this week. And I actually did this week. That's the reason I'm using this example. So I'm going to go to a different tab. And let me show you where that is. I'm in marketing. I'm in marketing guest insights.
Oh, you want reservations?
Okay, guest insights is new. You're right. Hang on a minute. I want to show them that. Let me go to the very beginning. Okay, so we have two pieces here. This is a brand new piece. It's called guest insights. It's actually our new reservations piece that Tim mentioned. It's a bit different because it's going to show you in a very easy way how to get what you want, and we're working on this. We're going to do things like average daily rate. total rent range. We're doing really cool stuff in here right now. Right now it's not finished. So, and it's not in your drop down to look at. It's only in mine because I have a demo company. So we're going to reservations. And in reservations, I already have some filters set because what I was looking for were people for Thanksgiving week. So I went back to 2018 to my guests. Remember I said that history is important. Now, how cool is this? We're pulling all the historical data. So if you've been with VRM for years, you're going to have years worth of data that you can go back through and harvest into really cool stuff with. I mean, really cool stuff. But right now we're looking to fill those Thanksgiving weeks. And so I looked for, and I'm going to clear, I looked for people that have traveled less than 400 miles. And I'm going to show you how I did that. I went down under guest distance right here, and I clicked on it, and I said, oh, find me guests that rented for, well, let me go backward. I'm looking for people that checked in Thanksgiving week, which is this week in 2018. And this week in 2018, this was Thanksgiving week, and these are the people that came to visit. I can choose any week I want. As a matter of fact, I'm going to clear all the filters so you can see how easy it is. Right now, I'm going to look for not people that booked during this date, but the check-in date. And I'm going to start, and I'm going to say they checked in on, in 2018, November 22nd was Thanksgiving. So it's going to be the week of 11/17/2020 to 11/24. This is live, bringing back the data. So here are the people that stayed during that time. Now, I want people that stayed during Thanksgiving, but I want people that booked. Let's see, it's October the 8th. I have like 45 days before Thanksgiving week. And so I need people that book last minute. Let's find people that book last minute. So let's do book days out right here. People that booked, select booked days before check-in. So we're going to go to 45 days because that's what we've got right here. And I'm going to submit that. And I've timed out.
You had your filter set.
I had my filter set. All right. So let me do minimum days ago. Let me do 60. All right. So I'm playing with my data. There we go. So it looks like here are the book days out. It looks like nobody booked before. The earliest was 47 days. Now, this morning when I checked the data, I had different data. I found people that had booked 3 days out. Oh, I'm looking at 2020. Nobody caught me.
I was just about to ask if that was correct.
It's not. I'm looking for people that rented in 2018. That's my bad. I'm so used to do that. So 11/24/2018. I would be really sad if the data had changed that much. All right. So here are the people that booked 60 days for, and now I have 29. I have 29, but you know what? I don't want that. I want people that arrived you get what I'm doing here. I'm looking for people that did 45 days out. I'm going to find them because I know this matches. Now, if you beta this product, you can go do this exact search, okay? I haven't verified your data, but it's not so hard to look and see if these are people that rented with you. Now, don't forget this one. These are people that have not made a reservation. So I'm coming down here to repeat guest. I want people that are not future guests. They haven't booked with me, all right? So these are people that booked in 2018 that are not booked for the future with me. And so I'm gonna see, I have 26 records. I'm looking for people that can drive because it's short notice. Now, this is still short notice. Like you could still market to all of these people who drove from these areas, even like Oklahoma City. They made a reservation. This is real data right here. They made a reservation 39 days out before Thanksgiving. For myself, I was looking for people that could drive to, especially with COVID, because in 2018, we didn't have the same issue. People could fly in, and they can still fly in, but they're less likely to. So I'm looking for people that do within driving distance, and there are my 16 records. I am going to do this for 17. I'm going to do this for 19. And so last year, the year before that, and the year before that, I'm going back 3 years for this. I'm going to have to do it 3 times, and I'm going to come up with a spreadsheet like this every time. You see this export to Excel? It's going to click there to download your export. And when you do, you're going to have an export like this. These are 2019 booked prime candidates for last minute Thanksgiving reservations that I sent yesterday to someone because I was getting this set up for today. And I thought this will be a good search. And so they will be marketing to these people. They are prime candidates. So
it's good to note with what Linnell's saying there about taking the different years. I mean, there's lots of approaches if you're thinking about all the different ways that you could come out here and filter data. But even the discussion of like Thanksgiving, you could apply the logic that say that, well, you know, maybe people that come last minute for Easter might be interested in coming last minute Thanksgiving. So you might go grab another segment of your history to use that data. Or if you were looking for fall rentals, you might say, well, let me get people that might come in the spring for a high season summer client. Spring and fall have similar rate seasons. So you might look for people from that same rate season to
or,
grab that. So
okay,
you
this is
can,
my favorite. I
how
could
you
just go on
harvest
here
the data
forever.
is really, yeah.
Or you might decide I have a brand new house and I really need to fill that house. And I'm not going to take away from other properties or anything, but what I want to do is I'm going to come here and look for the people most likely. Okay, here's where it gets really, really, really cool. Most likely, and there's a lot of data in here. Ignore the data you don't like. Embrace the data that you do like. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to look for people that had early check-ins maybe, that haven't rented before and offer them a really cool early check-in package. I'm going to look for people that were in pet cottages. I can slice and dice my data to see, I'm looking for people that preferred 5-bedroom homes, or even better, I'm going to come back over to this report and I'm going to sort by bedrooms. And I'm going to see, I've had property managers call me and this is what they said. All my 4 bedrooms are rented. How do I get my 5 bedrooms rented? And I said this, go to Rental Insight. Look at all the people who rented 5 bedrooms and 4 bedrooms. No, people that rented 4 bedrooms last year who haven't rented, or the last 3 years who haven't rented from you. Advertise to them that you have a 5 bedroom available. Find it within the same price range that they paid for the 4 bedroom. Say, hey, I have 5 bedroom available for the same rate you had a 4 bedroom. We've actually done that, and the cool thing to note about that is when they come back the next year to rent or the next time to rent, they usually rent the larger house, even if it's more expensive. So there's some really cool, listen, I'm a programmer by trade. I'm not a marketer, although I love marketing and I love this type of thing with data. I'm sure your marketing teams can come up with much more scenarios than we can just sitting here. But you can.
Well, I am a marketer, and my brain's like going do 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 do. All the things.
It's a lot of data. There's so much you can do. I mean,
Anything that's a data point is really something you could filter. I mean, like you could go off property amenities. That's a big one. People say like, I want to do a special to all my guests that came, you know, and stayed in a pet friendly house. I want to market to them and offer them, you know, a doggy special, or I'm going to do a doggy themed, you know, a pet themed marketing piece. And so you want to send to those people.
I'm going to look for everybody that had a canal, that rented a canal, or that rented an ocean front. I'm going to look at everybody that had a hot tub or a pool that rented that. I'm going to slice and dice my data because you have so much guest data here.
It gives you really, I mean, there's 2 end means that you're going for that really targeted, like if you're trying to rent a home or a certain segment, but it also gives you the ability to, instead of just marketing to all of your past guests in one way, you can start to segment them and market to them in each individual ways based off of what their preference were and what they stayed. I mean, it's going to be different selling points to somebody that rented a $1,500, $2,000 house than somebody that rented an $8,000 house.
So if I'm looking, I'm before my summer season and we don't have a lot of, I need to move on, but if I'm looking in my summer, and we'll do training, we'll do individual training for this if you need. We're going to be doing all different types of training. We're going to do group training. We're going to offer some individual training, looking at your own data. Tracy and her team are putting together different types of trainings that we're going to do. And it's just going to be so much fun to look at the data and say, oh, look at this. How cool is this? But if you're in May and you see this week is unrented, now this is a very rentable week. You can see by looking at it, all right, it is June the 13th and the price increased from here to here. See how it went up? Well, that's how we do our seasonality on the East Coast and the beach areas. We do our seasonality. So at this point, depending where you notice this hole, you can do something about it. If you know something in advance, you can do something about it. So
it's a really good tool when you're looking at your advance rates to just refer to that and see what happened with each unit.
Yeah, so when you go next year to set this rate, you can say, oh, it was a little high last year. I didn't rent that. I might want to do something to that. And this is not looking across, like I said, market insights. You can look and see where you are price-wise in the market and whether you need to adjust up or down based on specific inventory. But here, based on specific homes, you can do the same thing. So keep an eye out on this report, and we'll teach you more about things you might want to look at later.
I know this is one that rental managers really love.
It's an important tool.
They love that report.
So if you have any questions, stick them in the Q&A that we've got here, and we're happy to answer those. So I'm going to go to our next we're doing booking by users at this point. Reservation and out. Nope, it's
the agent pacing.
Thank you. We've changed the names to be friendly, and so I'm trying to remember all the friendly names. We're doing agent pacing. So agent pacing will show you how your reservationists are doing if you're putting them in your database by user. If you use just one reservationist, you're not going to see this. But if you break it out, you're going to be able to see how your reservationists are doing individually. Now I'm going to tell you a real story. So one of our clients was using this tool, and you could see we have Curly, Larry, Mo, and Shemp. And they're really good reservationists, all of them are. But Larry is a lot more casual than Mo and Curly and Shemp. He's really casual, he uses casual language. He has a real Southern accent. And one of the reservationist managers wanted to get rid of Larry. She said he just doesn't follow Doug Kennedy's his script that we give. I'm just making that as an example. I don't know that it was Doug Kennedy's script, but he has good scripts. He doesn't follow the scripts, and he's not doing it the way that we've taught him to do. And the property manager came to me and said, do you have anything to back up and show me how they're doing? And I'm like, yeah, I do. Hang on just a minute, because they had rental insights. And we looked, and we could see that, look at Larry. Larry's sold 1.9 million. And look how everybody else did. It turns out that he resonated with people. People really liked making reservations with him. So, you know, you can look at this report and see how everybody's doing as far as making reservations. You can set goals with this. So just use this report as you want. I'm using it for the booking date, for when they actually took the booking. You can look at it from when people were arriving. There are other ways to look at this, and if you have multiple offices, everything has that type of report. So the next thing we're going to look at is one of my favorites. I love this report. This is called, now what do we call it here, Tim? It's called the weekly reservation pacing,
Weekly
right?
pacing, yeah.
I love this report, because I can look at this report and I can see COVID. I can see exactly what happened in COVID. What it shows you is the number of reservations from 19 to 20 as we look at it. So in 2019,
and these are paying bookings,
paid bookings,
not owner bookings. Yeah.
Money on there's money. Now, if you want to add, you can decide whether you add or not. No money. Here's the click here if you want to do that. And if you want to only use active properties, which I don't know, you may have lost homes this year, you can only see active, but you can see active and active here. But look at this. We come down and we see where on 5/5 the market opened up. We opened up the beaches on that day in that area, and reservations started. You can see where people were starting to come, and then they thought about it, and then they decided in March, remember when March 18th came that week, the bottom went out everywhere. And so right here though, when it opened up, all of a sudden they're doing way better than they were last year because everybody started wanting to get their reservation in. And here we are, we're right at 10:08, and it's 10:07 here. So you can see this is the only week since that they've been down in number of reservations. So that's a really cool report. Love that report for management. So this is our arrivals report. We're now under reservation analysis, and I've got to run through. I'm going to run really quickly, okay? Tim, stop me if I forget something, but I'm going to try to get through this with you. For the arrivals report, it's showing everybody that's arriving on a certain day. Now, people use this for all different types. I'm going to sort by the difference, which means the difference between what they paid and what they owed. And so I could have this up for a reservationist. She could see where the guest was from, when they're checking in, if they're doing check-in in that way, but I can see who owes me money and who I owe money. So that's a really cool part for this. The other thing for arrivals report is it just lets you know who's going to be in here. Tim, I'm missing something about this.
It's a quick way that if you needed to run a report of arrivals, like let's say you go out and make sure that you just, I mean, we have scheduling tools and everybody's has some different methods, but if you don't have a place in process for that, it's a great report just to say, oh, here's the arrivals, go by and make sure the house looks ready, or
where am I delivering linens?
Where am I taking linens?
And
There's a departures.
Has it been more than 14 days that this has been empty? That's why we're showing the number of, we show how many days this has been empty. Doesn't need a spruce. You could use this for housekeeping. You can use it for reservations. There's a lot of different uses for it. Departures report.
It would be the same thing, just on the other side of the reservation.
Yeah, and same kind of thing. Who's leaving? I'm not gonna, here's the departures.
Now, the one that's a little different is the occupancy. And I hate to talk about storms and disasters, but and it's not just, I told Linnell, it's like, we can't use the hurricane word because it's not just hurricanes. It could be as simple as, I know, I broke my rule, but it's even as simple as, a power line, a tree taken out of power line and power's out for a day, or.
This shows you, it says occupancy because it's showing you who's in the home. So let's see, I'm gonna look for who's in the home. Who's in the home, who's coming into this home next week, who will I have from 10:10 to 10:17, or it's this week and I have an emergency and something's happened, so I click on who's on the report, who's in the home today. And
I have a great like non-negative example for this, because we do have a strong no H word policy on this show. Just kidding. We censor out that kind of language.
Yeah.
I just had one of our marketing clients contact me today, and they are having the very first concert of any kind that they've had since COVID started. It's a drive-in concert.
Oh, nice.
It's set up really. It's in Florida, and he wants to send out a message to those people who are going to be checked in during that week, because he really wants to help make this event a success. And so he wants those people who are booked in during that week to know about this, concert. There's no other concerts going on. So it's super exciting. He wants everybody to know. And then obviously there's a great opportunity for other marketing around it. So I can definitely see where this can also be used in addition to emergency or crisis situations. There's certain special events happening that you could also use to market to.
Yeah, that was our alternate use case yesterday. was events.
The cool thing about this report is that not only does it tell you who these guests are, it lets you SMS them. So you send them text messages, or you can email them from this tool. That's what this is for. This is to get in touch with your guest during the time that they're here. That's what an occupancy is very good for. The other thing that you can do with this is, if it's a very slow week, you can always give this list to your reservationist and say, hey, call them and see if they've booked their week for next year, because then you've got the list of everybody who's in homes this week. So in this particular, you can export it, of course, like I said, you could print it, but you can also decide who to send this to and who not to send it to.
Yeah. The big thing on this one is the fact that you can, especially if you're looking at a range, whether it was, you know, this is going to be going on all week and I want to make sure I offer it to everybody, or if it's going to be impacting everybody all week and I wanted to let everybody know. Now that people, you know, are getting away from the traditional, everybody checks in on Saturday and stays a week, and you're getting more to varying check-in days and nightly models, you could have something that affects a week that you either have to go run an arrivals report for every day, going back 3 weeks to get anybody that might be there for 3 weeks, and worry about those people that just come for 2 nights or the person that's here for 3 weeks. This report catches all of them in one swoop. So
the other thing that I've seen this used for is if you have condominium complexes that have changed data since the check-in. For instance, I had someone use this report once because they had literally changed the trash day. Something had happened from a Thursday, they needed it done on a Tuesday, and so they used this to send that out. The other thing you can use, if there's something specific about a unit, if there's something specific about a unit, people that are going to be there for the next 3 weeks, and there's noise that's going on, you can say, hey, just letting you know there's going to be something happening next door, or whatever you use it for. There's a lot
same
of
type of filters.
Yeah, but it's the same kind of thing, and you can use this report for that. It's very helpful for that. We also have a balances report. The balances report literally is going to show you the people who are checking in, and let's just say 10/1/2020 until today, which is the 8th, and they have a balance due to the customer. Oh, well, I have 3. They're 4 cents, 1 cent, and 1 cent, but hey, I have 3. You can use this to show all balances, people who is 0, balance that is not 0, balance due from customer. So this is just something you can run for people, for the customers that are coming in, just as a last minute check. That's what this was made for. And so that's what this report is doing. Now, if we go to the next one, which is the notifications report, the notifications report is pretty straightforward. You're going to put who you want the email to appear to have come from. We're sending the email, but it's who it's going to appear to come from. And so these are last minute booking notifications. You might set up an alias so that everybody that needs to get notification that there's somebody arriving in the next 7 days, you can do that. Someone that canceled, so you'll want somebody to see cancellations for people that are arriving in the next 7 days. Or there's a last minute service notification arriving in the next 10 days. These are last minute housekeeping notifications, things that are affecting housekeeping, last minute pool notifications, last minute linens notifications. So these are, you put the email addresses in for the people you want to be notified about these particular things happening, and we will send them out. So as you can see, this is set up by marketing, revenue, and analysis, the reservation analysis. I haven't gone here yet, so these are reservations by location. And what this will let you do is it'll show you, now there's a lot of data in here. So this is 21, how many reservations came in for next year, so these are advanced, for Charlotte, from Charlotte, and that's the number. So you know where your reservations are coming from at a glance to market. Now, Rental Insights has this data, plus it compares it to the market, so you can see where yours come from and where theirs come from. Now, you only get to see the first 100 in Rental Insights.
And Market Insights.
And Market Insights. Thank you, Tim. But here you get to see, you can view the top 100 locations, or you can look at all of your reservations and where they come from and export that. It's a very slow report if you do that, because we're pulling back a lot of data.
This is another good example of one of those times you might look at that and see, well, gee, last year we had, 30, there was one that was like 30 some rentals from that city, and now there's like 10. So maybe we should go back and grab some of those guests. Obviously, people from that area liked coming. Let's go look for those guests and try to market to them again. There's something about that area. Or if you were going to and we push this with market insights, but like do some specific targeted marketing, like maybe in Charlotte, North Carolina, if you get in either, paid Google advertising or, Facebook targeting or something like that, target advertising with zip codes, you could look at those areas and where your rentals have come. So you've obviously found a way to resonate with people in that area.
The other thing to look at here, remember we were doing that slice and dice, my favorite part, the reservations report. And it's a guest reservation report. But if you look here, you can see, like you said, you had 145 reservations in 20. That's this year. You have 51 already on the books for next year. That's pretty darn good. Because these are pre-reservations, remember. So really you want to compare the 19 and the 20 and see where you were this year to last year. And they're up. Almost all those are up. But we knew that because we've been booked solid for COVID. There is a classic menu. Are we making that available?
They won't even see that in the portal.
All right, just making sure. Okay, I wanted to explain if they didn't see it.
If you happen to be an existing user, yeah, you're seeing a sneak peek of what it's going to look like soon.
Yes, that's true. All right, so if you have any questions, you can put them in. Otherwise, I'm open right now for questions if anybody wants to ask any, and if not, we're good here too. Let's move this back to the front page.
I don't see any questions right this second in the Q&A section.
All right.
But I did want, it's kind of a question / comment. Obviously, a lot of times when we start talking about data, and obviously you guys are data experts, while a lot of our managers and owners are not. They're busy running vacation rental management companies. That obviously I don't think there's anybody out there that would say, no, I don't want to know what my data is. I don't think any of our managers or owners would say that. However, becoming an expert in that, I can definitely start to hear, find me another hour in the day. We've got, we're up to our ears. We've pushed out our shoulder seasons this year. We're busier than we've ever been, working on reduced staffing. I can hear some of the things that may be mulling over in our clients' heads. And I just wanted to ask / kind of tell, I want to hear from Linnell and Tim, just kind of addressing those kinds of concerns, because obviously they've dealt with, hundreds, if not thousands of property managers. But I also just want to say, like, our goal is presenting this to you today as an overview. And then over the next weeks and months, presenting these items to you in small manageable pieces. We realize that you can't swallow all this information at once. You don't have time to dedicate and become an overnight professor of data analysis with a certificate from LSI. We realize you're going to need those in small little bites and just work on one step at a time. So two-part question, Linnell and Tim. Number one, how do you address those pushbacks and concerns from clients, or our clients / property managers? And number two, when we start diving in, when you have an opportunity to kind of prioritize what people look at, where are we going to start as far as our first training sessions? When we start nailing down, what are we going to look at first?
First thing we'll look at is the snapshot report, because it's really going to give you the most data. The second thing we're going to look at is how to slice and dice the data on the reservations report for getting that guest data for filling the reports. So in order to do the second, we actually have two reports that work together. Remember, I showed you those. So we'll show you how to find holes in your inventory, and then we're going to show you how to find past guests to fill that inventory.
Perfect.
And I can tell you that it works. We had a company who were down 300 reservations when they started using Rental Insight. And by the time the year was over, that same rental year, they were up 1,100, and they had 1.6 million to the bottom line using it. So yeah, it works. If you're going, you can't be lazy with it. I mean, honestly, data is so much fun. But you know, you need somebody that's going to look at it and who's going to say, okay, let's fill that inventory. And they did, and they
I'd say it's definitely, I mean, like Linnell said, kind of starting with the snapshot and looking from there, even putting market insight of some of that and seeing how you fit with the rest of the market. Um, but you know, as far as the time constraint, or I don't have the time to do this, um, you know, I mean, obviously, the more you use it, I guess the way to say it is the better off you will be. But I don't think it should be something that you should wait till you have the whole time to understand the whole thing to do it. If you say, I want to figure out my snapshot report and I want to figure out how to at least pull out guests to do something marketing, or I want to
that's
be able to
right.
look at my rental units and just figure out what units aren't priced right or whatever, start somewhere and get familiar with the tool and get familiar with what your data is in there. And then you start seeing, then next thing you know, you're putting the pieces together with where you can go without anybody telling you where to do it. But
I love it. So you're not saying it's an all or nothing. Even if you have
definitely
to
not that.
start small. It's worth it.
Yeah, I
That's
mean, we've
right.
got people that come to us and just say, look, I just need to pull out past people that haven't booked. That's all I want to do. And I'm going to market to them every month. That's all they do. And eventually they'll come back and go, oh, we'd like to get this out of here now too, or we're having a problem with this. How can I see that? And then you know, then they start getting in there a little deeper. So
That's right. Yep, exactly. So it is a very fun tool, and it's one that can be used to do all different types of things, but it's really good to see where you are and to make sure that you don't leave something too long that needs to be paid attention to as a rental manager.
And then looking at that historical data, when you're able to look at it, you know, comparing where you are today versus where you were, you know, over the last 3 years, how do you guys feel that works in a market that, you know, my assumption is that we can't assume what the market's going to look like in the next year. We're treading into some new normals, and we don't have historical data on that yet. So how important do you think looking at the market and looking at historical data is going to be to try to be predictive of activity coming in the future, and filling any gaps and making really good decisions about placement of your properties, pricing of your properties, etc.?
One of the things that happens is that when we get used to the way that the percentages that we have, so using rental insights in combination with market insights is going to tell you where you're standing. It's going to look at averages, not above average. It's going to look at averages. So if you're below the average of the market. And being able to put that information along with how you're doing internally. I mean, you may be doing spades, you know, me doing so great this year versus last and still be behind in the market. So I think it's important that you look at both pieces of data. And I think it's really important that people understand that those pieces of data are separate. So you're the only one that sees your market data, and you're the only one that sees your rental insight data. So both of those are yours alone. But one does allow you to look at the local and the state market to compare yourself, and it's free.
you've started to see some of that new normal, you
Yeah,
know, with that. Even it requires a little more in-depth analysis and looking and saying, well, can I, like if you're a summer high season summer rental, do your fall rentals, can you flip that over and apply that same logic to next spring as kind of the inverse, using market insight? I mean, there's a little more predictive guesswork, I guess you could put into it, than past. But I also think a couple of the reports we actually had back to 2018, and we've talked about that, is that the year-to-year comparison for next year is going to be really hard to use in its own alone. So we've talked about even the idea of looking 2 years back so that you can say, well, last year, and you get that experience some if somebody have had some sort of a weather related event or some other, you know, closure that took something out for a short time. This is just everybody lost like several months at the same time.
there's a new normal for lots of pieces, but the booking window, you can throw that historical out the window and take a look at, because you really do want to look at trending for this past year, because our booking windows have been crazy. So I think that using this tool to slice and dice and find people past guests, inviting them, it is a very good time to use this to fill inventory, because people are, go ahead, Tim.
So since you mentioned the historical data, I
Mhm.
actually wanted to mention this earlier too. If if you have anybody that's new to VRM that didn't import their historical data, but they still have it sitting in a spreadsheet or, you know, some file database or whatever else, we work and usually can import that in so that even though it's not in VRM, if you've got 10 years worth of rental history, let us put that in there so that you can still go back and market to those old people that, I mean, you might, we talked about people that haven't booked again. You might want to market to people that have stayed with you a certain number of times, and having that 10 years of history is really valuable. So
Yeah.
if you're new with VRM and you have your history somewhere and it's not in VRM system, let us know. We can.
Yeah, we do a lot of custom work for things like that, especially for history. Historical data is really important. We store it for people. We host a lot of historical data for people, for clients as well. It's part of our business model.
And I'm so glad you actually brought that up too, because one of the things that I was thinking as we were looking at some of your different reports is some of it our clients can access from even their own admin console. So some of it they can tap into, but there's a whole lot that Rental Insights offers that us as VRM cannot tap. We can't build. We're not the data experts. That's LSI's job, and that's one of the other than just really liking each other, which we do. We have a really great synergy, and they offer a solution for our clients, and so our dev team and their dev team have worked extremely close together to create, not specific to VRM, but we've have this product now that can answer questions and solve problems. And again, VRM, we are the expert in many things, but data might not always be one of them. And so Linnell, do you ever offer to clients, I'm sure there's additional fees involved, but do you, as the number of people, do you offer consulting? Do you help somebody, who, if I was a property manager and I just need more help. I have very specific problems where I need help. I need very specifically dialed in information. I need someone to not just hold my hand through how to use the product, but I actually need consulting on what to do with that information. Do you offer that?
We do. We have clients that are set up annually that we sit down once a year to plan their strategy out for the next year as far as where we can make more money. We look and see where they're making their most money, and we look to see if we can increase that for them. We look at where they want to create new revenue centers, and we see if what we've got that can help them to do that. Every tool that we have should pay for itself. There's not a question. Anything that we sell, we show value on, and if you don't have value on it, you shouldn't keep it. And I mean that's just the way you should run a business that way. You got to put your money where your mouth is for those types of things. So yeah, we do, and we do individual consulting. We can do it. Like we've done 2 sessions this week, Scott and I already, for people that were interested in the market insights. They just wanted to know how to read it better, and if we could help them to figure out what they needed to do there. But rental insights, I mean, seriously, we there's so much data that can help your business, and we're happy to consult any way that we can. So we do have a team that does that.
Perfect. Well, we've come up on our hour, guys. So let's just talk about what the next steps look like. What does a VRM client need to know as far as next steps? Okay,
so Rental Insights, we have offered it to VRM clients for half price. But right now, we're not charging anything, and we want to buy and try. You want to try before you buy in some of these cases. And in this case, this is the case. We're looking for beta clients that want to work with us. You'll get individual consulting. We can't take too many, so I want to say that up front, but we will take a few. So if you're interested, what you need to do is go and under the single sign-on in the VRM system, just click on that and we'll know that you clicked on it and be able to contact you. Or you can reach out they can reach out to you if they want to do that, or they can reach out to us. We're happy to do that. So right now you're going to see data. If you go in there and look, there's data. I'm not guaranteeing it's perfect because we're still harvesting your data. So we're looking for some beta clients. And then on the 2nd of November, that week we're launching, and everything should be perfectly in order and ready to go. And we're going to do some special deals that we're going to offer. coming up, and we're still putting some of that together for Tracy's team to see, see what kind of interest there is. So let's see if you're interested in reporting and doing that type of really cool filling inventory and seeing where everything is. So let us know by clicking on the single sign-on and going ahead and sign on.
And what Linnell means by single sign-on is on your admin console over in the left-hand grid, find those tools powered by LSI, and you should be able to find it there.
Yeah.
All right. So just before we close, I just want to also mention that in addition to this is being recorded today, and so the replay will go out to you all tomorrow, earlier than later in the day. We'll get that out to you. We'll make sure that we tell you, we'll give you all the ways to contact. I'll try to get a screenshot of that single sign-on for you so you know exactly where to click in case you're interested in becoming one of the first people to take a look at it and become a beta client for Rental Insights. We will also, I'll give you Linnell's email address in case you need to get up with LSI directly. And of course, you know how to get up with us, but we'll make sure we put that information in there as well. By tomorrow, we're also hoping to have some dates nailed down of when our next training is going to be, so we can actually go ahead and give you a link directly to that in case you want to start just signing up for the next steps. Of course, as I mentioned at the beginning, VRM University, VRMU user sessions will be the week of November 9th. And those dates and times will be coming as well. And of course, we will be having a session with LSI Tools during that, maybe multiple, but we will definitely be having something that is specific for Rental Insights. And who knows, maybe you will end up with a certificate from LSI in the end anyway, if you attend VRM University.
Right. We don't know what giveaways we're doing right now. We're there. Oh, and I want to say something. This version of Rental Insight is brand new. We haven't even launched it with our clients. So it's brand new for VRM. We wanted it to be really cool and special, so we've done some really unique things for you guys.
Okay, and Michelle on our team, Michelle Smith, is just asking for Rental Insights. I don't think that that's actually on the admin console as of right this second. Market Insights, and so everybody just hold tight. We'll make sure that that gets up on there so that you have access to that, and then get that over in the replay. So when we get the replay information out to you, it will be 100% accurate of where you're going to go and what you're going to click. So by the time we get that email out to you, we will have that ready for you to go.
But if you haven't done Market Insight, you should do it too.
Right. Yes. Don't not click on Market Insight. And remember, that one is free of charge, and your data should be there ready to go.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for your time today.
You're welcome.
We
Thanks so much for having us.
You're so welcome. We appreciate all that you do for VRM clients, and just on behalf of everyone here at VRM, we appreciate your time. We appreciate your attention, the love that you show our clients. We feel like you treat our clients the way that we do, which I think is why we do good business together and why that relationship will continue. And we look forward over the next coming weeks, coming months, working even closer with you guys as we get this training dripped out to the VRM clients. So thanks so much, guys. Until next time, take care.
Thanks.
Thank you.